God is moving. It's Young People Nation.
Welcome to Young People Nation. Listen to us weekly as we commit to bring transparency, healing, and truth to the everyday situations in life that might bring you down. Join us for your weekly dose of inspiration. Thank you for listening to Young People Nation. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now, here's your host, Eugene and Donna Perry.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know His word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross.
Welcome back to Young People Nation. How about it, Mr. Perry?
Hey, a great show.
Yes. And welcome back to session 4 of bullying, being a bully and being bullied. And we are blessed again to have Miss Santita Danju.
Yes.
Get that right.
Got it.
Danju. And Miss Tanisha Williams. Yes. Awesome educators in our school system. And we're just very fortunate and blessed to have them. And I know a lot of parents are thankful for you all as well. Okay, in session 4, let's just look at steps for the child being bullied or bullying others. What is the first step once you discover a child is being bullied or being a bully?
So my first step as an adult is to notify the parent. Well, let me back that up. After I talk with the child, then I'll definitely be notifying the parent and having that conversation. And then more often than not, I usually wind up having doing some type of social skills or coping skills for the child just to kind of get over that whole, because being bullied is a traumatic experience.
Yes.
And so having to deal with teaching them how to get over that and overcoming that fear of that individual, and also sometimes fear of even coming into the school building. Because, of course, anytime something, you've been traumatized or something has constantly been done to you, you kind of don't want to be in that area, or you don't want to be in that situation anymore. So teaching a child coping skills, all right, so you got to come to school. So how are we going to make this situation better for you? So when you walk into our building, you feel loved and welcome. Is it checking in with a certain teacher? Is it sitting next to a certain friend? So we set those things up in place for our students to make sure that to kind of regain that sense of safety in our building. So we set that up. Now the student who is the bully, they're facing consequences.
Okay.
We are still, and we still kind of counsel that person as well, and also talk with them and the parents, like, okay, well, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to handle things differently? Again, we talked about teaching empathy previously. What are some things we can do to make them understand that what they're doing is not right, and that's not how you handle a situation? And also put yourself in the other person's shoes. How would you have felt if that was you? So just several just counseling techniques and coping skills that we kind of put out there for those students. And then for the parents, we just kind of tell the parents, I am always one to tell students, I know you need to have a trusted adult in our building, but you have to go home every day. You need to be able to talk to your parents. Talk to your parents. Regardless of how hard you think it's going to be, they want to hear what's going on in your life. They want to listen. So talk to your parents. Tell them what's going on so that they can also help you when you leave from here, when you leave the school building as well.
I see that when you're saying that a parent got to have the right attitude. They can't have an attitude like there is no crying in baseball type attitude.
Yes.
They got to have an attitude where they are caring and understanding.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
And what about the child who don't have the parents? They may live with an aunt or something to that effect, that trusting adult that they have in their life.
Yes. And even if it's not because there are certain situations where unfortunately children don't have, even in the home, even if it's, whether it's a biological parent or it's a guardian, someone who's taking care of them, we still make sure that when they come into our building, like, so if they come into the building that first thing in the morning, if I see the kids when they walk into our building every morning, And if I see a child crying or has a look on their face, hey, sweetie, come here. What's going on? And I take that time, and I'm that trusted adult. So they may not, get it that 6 to 8, well, the 8 to 10 hours while they're in home. Well, most of the time they're still once they get home, they're asleep. But from the time that they get on that bus or get in that car and are dropped off in our building, our goal is to make sure that that child's needs, their basic needs are met, whether it's giving them, giving them a snack, having that one-on-one time with them, just anything that we need to do to make sure that they feel safe.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't do anything about your parent, not abuse or neglect. But sometimes parents are detached because they have so much of their own personal baggage that they have going on. I can't do anything about your mom, but we can work on you.
And that's a whole nother session right there.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's mainly what I try to focus on. I try to put myself in a mindset of, like, every kid I'm dealing with, maybe they don't have that at home. And so I try to be very intentional as a teacher, as someone that they see every day, intentional about building that relationship, letting them feel or helping them to feel comfortable with me, so that if they have to talk to someone or they need to talk to someone, they feel comfortable coming to talk to me or share with me whatever it is that's going on. I feel like that's so important. It's so important for a child when they come to the school building that they know that there's someone in that building that sees them, that they don't feel like no one notices them. And so I'm constantly trying to create conversations, remember small things that they share with me the day before. And when you remember, if you just remember something like, hey, you had on that jersey the other day, you a Bulls fan or something? Was your dad a Bulls fan? How do you know about the Bulls? And, just mentioning something, and that could be the connector, that little small thing. And the next day they may just come out and drop a little nugget of something that they may be dealing with. So just being intentional as parents, and as adults, there's some parents that probably don't have that communication with their kid. Just the small things that count and that matter to the kids. You'll be amazed at the small things that will get them excited, Well,
thank God for you guys, because I'm sure as you're expressing, and what I keep hearing is you all are so engaged with your students, and that is such a blessing. You understand? Because you may have that one chance to reach that child, and that's that one chance you got. And so thank God for you guys being in the school system and being there for these our children. And I say our children because we're a community. Sometimes we just need to go back when it was the community. If someone saw me somewhere, not spanking nobody and anything, I ain't about that life. But I'm just saying, just bringing to their attention, hey, I don't believe your parents would like for you to be doing that, And so that's just really a great blessing to have you guys in the education system.
I think we don't give our counselors and teachers enough credit. Because I remember when I used to work at Youth Challenge, the communication gap between the adult and the child was so great, to the point where they have an entirely different language. I was like, the kid was saying this and all and saying that, and I was like, I don't have a clue what you just said. It's like they got a foreign language barrier there.
I ask them sometimes, okay, well, tell me the new lingo for this, because I know y'all have a new word for how you say, drip, meaning like your clothes look good. So they use, it's probably something different now. I know it was drip maybe 2 years ago, but or the sauce,
and
but
we have to stay abreast too. You understand? You can't just blow it off. Talking about, well, I ain't got nothing to do that. You mess around and you say something, they be looking at you like,
But not only that, the Texan is a whole different language too. I remember the first time I found out what LOL was, I was like, wow. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Like, LOL. I think he had a military moment there.
There's new ones coming out every day. Changing every day.
So how difficult is it to get parents involved? What does that look like? I've had teachers come in my office, and They come in there for one thing, but they express their frustration of not being able to get parents involved.
It kind of varies. It varies, by the parent, by the child. Sometimes you'll have parents who are overly involved, and then you have those parents who like don't even tell me what's going on in my child's life because I really don't care. And it's
Wow.
and those are the toughest ones because more than likely those are also the kids who need the most care.
Yes.
And who need the most attention and who are probably acting out because of that in response to that. There really is it's kind of difficult. It's difficult to try to find something to get a parent to attend. I've had a situation where a parent was focused and concerned about her living situation and working, and just again when you get if the basic, to me I think when those basic needs are not met, you can kind of just everything else is going to be cast aside because the parent's focus is going to be on finances, money, a place to live, a place to
livelihood.
stay. Yes, their livelihood. And so, like, why am I I have to make sure that my child has a place to sleep. I'm not concerned about them, being mean to another child. At least we have a roof over our head. And so we have that type of situation. It's just difficult, and I wish there was like this magic wand that we could kind of wave around, and every parent would be appropriate. I don't want to say not overly, because there's a happy medium.
Yeah.
But they would be involved in their kid's life. I would wave it in a minute.
Well, I see right there with that saying right there. There's a big gap in what the adult assumed to be important and what the child's important to a child. That $400 pair of sneakers is this whole world, or that PSA4 PlayStation, and where you thinking, hey, this will have a roof over your head and all, and it's a big gap. It's a big gap there that needs to be closed.
Could you list some of those resources? Could you all list some of those resources again? Because I believe that is very important, because you all are limited in what you can do, but if parents can hear some of these resources that are free, that's what I'm hearing. They don't cost you nothing but your time and involvement versus you paying for a mental health counselor.
Yes.
Because eventually these behaviors is going to have a reaction one way or another.
Well, again, with the school system, my whole thing is that if there is any parent out there who is experiencing any difficulties, we have people established in every school building or connected to schools that can assist with those resources. I have a wonderful school social worker that I work with, and because I can't think of any resources off the top of my head.
Yes, ma'am.
But within the school building, like I know who to call. So if you connect with the one person who knows who to call to get your needs met, that's all that matters. And so for me, I'm going to say, reach out to your school counselor.
Excellent.
And I know not all school counselors are equal, but the ones that I know, we're fabulous.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that. Just we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
I had the opportunity of volunteering at Harlem High School, Harlem Middle School. Our financial institution was involved in helping in the community. And so I did get a chance to glance at that time. Miss Leatherwood was the principal over there. Yeah. And so I did see the counselors, and you just saw how there was just a great momentum of a cooperation and everybody working together.
Yeah.
I was just standing back observing. I was like, wow. Yeah. And if one child came in and was sick or what have you, it was just a great momentum, and that was a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we again, the school counselor in your building is there to assist. And although I always say that my job is never it's not 7 to 3, and it's not Monday through Friday. If I have a student or if I'm alerted of a student who is having an issue on the weekend, I'm reaching out to my school social worker, and we're going to find out what the situation is and what we can do to assist.
Wow.
So I probably shouldn't be working 365 days.
But that child's life is important.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, sometimes, you have to kind of put aside your own personal convenience and your own, there's been Saturdays when I've gotten, been alerted to situations happening.
Wow.
And I just do what I can just to kind of help as much as I can until we get back in the building. But
that's passion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
because some people, they see that phone call, I'm off.
It's part passion, part crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you're devoted, and because that's a form of mental health, especially for someone to be reaching out on a weekend.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just think if every parent cared as much as you do,
Wow.
our whole school system would be changed
Oh, yeah.
for the better.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now, unfortunately, you got kids going out there getting weapons and all kinds of stuff going on. You see it in the news and all. It only takes a few adults to make a difference in a child's life.
Right.
And sometimes the kids, just like in our neighborhood, my husband says sometimes when I come home, but we nurture the children in our neighborhood. If you're
good.
misbehaving,
Yes.
now you know better than that, right? Okay, so I'm not talking at them because they're not my child.
Yeah.
You understand? However, just letting them know that we genuinely care,
Yeah.
and so that's powerful.
Oh, yeah.
That's powerful.
I agree.
Is there an alert system in the school system? Is that like the fire alarm? You pull the fire alarm, everybody run out, So,
Well, for teachers, our first go-to is the counselor. So Ms. Williams is the go-to if we hear we have a duty to report, and we must report, self-harm issues that we find out or anything that's going on in the home that is not to the benefit of the child. We immediately to report it to the counselor. And then the counselors have all of the resources that are needed and necessary for the school district. So she's my go-to.
chain of command.
All right,
Basically.
all right.
Chain of command.
Chain
Yeah.
of command.
We're the boots on the ground, and then there's a general over there.
Okay.
Whichever comes before that, I'm not. I don't know the lingo.
Okay.
We just one man up from y'all.
Okay. But whatever
one man
comes
up from the
after,
teachers.
whatever comes after the soldier.
Okay.
That's what sergeant.
And that's kind of like what we're about here. The kids are going back to school. You got children going off to college, and that's a whole nother mindset for parents. And if the child didn't deal with the bullying issue or being bullied, because I don't think you'll have no problem with you out there, no grown folks bullying, but you bullying, you'll bring it in. However, this has just been so resourceful, and we hope that parents are listening and pay attention to your children, because they're our responsibility as parents, and you have free resources in the school system, so utilize those resources. Okay.
Yes.
Well, any closing comments? I know I have to read off our hotlines here. So you like for me to do that first, Mr. Perry?
Do that first.
Okay. So we got the pacer.org. That's an anti-bullying website. We have stopthebullying.gov, learning how to identify bullying. And also, keep in mind October, so if you see a lot of people walking around in orange, it's National Bully Prevention Month, okay? And, of course, you have the 988 number, the hotline, because we do not want it to get to the point where a child takes his life or her life, okay?
Yes.
So these are just little tidbits. And thank you, Miss Williams and Miss Danju.
Thank
For
you.
having
Thank
us,
you so
for
much.
coming and having us. Having us, and we have y'all, but we thank you. But you guys, wow, just meeting you all and talking with you all and getting a hold of your book, Invisible. That's a great book. So you can find it in Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. What's your other websites?
SantitaDanjuBooks.com. Anywhere books are sold online.
and that is a good read for being bullied.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, any closing remarks, sir?
Well, every adult, they need to get involved in your school, and whether you have kids there or not, to make a difference to this encouraging country that we have. And again, this is Young People Nation, and there is always hope.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know His word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross. He the #1 prospect. He the top boss. I was broke, I was empty. He the one that paid the cost. Really thought that I was cool. There was nothing like the Savior. Now it's time for the truth. The whole world been waiting. It's Young People Nation. 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 The whole world been waiting. Whatever you going through, I know what He gonna do. Don't matter the circumstance, we going back to the root. Keep going, keep going. Let that seed keep growing. You need peace and we know it. Now it's time to live holy. Young People Nation. You know what time it is. Young People Nation. Get ready, the time is here. Get ready, we vibing here. We about to let God in here. Young People Nation. It's Young People Nation. Yeah, do it for the heavens, you know where we going. Influenced by His love, you know we gotta show it. It's time to put the youth on to what God is doing. Cause I can tell you now, right now, that God is moving. It's Young People Nation.